Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the weekly mindfulness circle for achievement addict. Today, 1st of December, it is snowing in Zurich. I'm very happy. First snow of the year. There's so much excitement about this. And today, on the contrary of warm and coziness of the snow, Puja is going to cover the topic of strong emotions and how to uh, take benefits of mindfulness practice to face and move through this. Without further, a quick introduction for everyone who is watching this and haven't met me yet before. My name is Astuti Martosudirdjo. I am a life coach and a subconscious mind reprogrammer based in Zurich. And I work with people, go-getters from around the world, to find more balance between their eagerness to achieve and grow with self-care and self-love. And my really good friend Puja, Dipanjali Puja Sapkota, is based in Geneva, and she is working as in global funds, but she is also a certified mindfulness coach that is going to guide us through the session today. So without further ado, welcome Puja.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. Yes, a little bit of recap how last week we talked a bit about stress, emotions, and then we said this week we'll go a little bit deeper into, you know, working with a bit of a difficult emotions that we normally try to run away from or try to ignore because we don't know how to, what to do with it, right? Not because we want to run away, just that we haven't been taught. Actually, it's a new subject coming up in psychology and in, scientists, neuroscientists also catching up. So let's dive into. I want to start this session with simple meditation, just to bring us in the awareness. Okay. And I intend to do more of meditation than talking. So just a very 1 minute, open awareness, just to bring ourselves here and now. So just close your eyes. You can open your eyes as well. This is something that you can do anywhere if you feel like you need to, be kind of aware and be mindful. If it's a busy schedule or mind's running around. So just, sit comfortably and just breathe. It's nothing to do. Just bringing your awareness to your breath, okay? You can straighten your back, or if that straightening your back is a bit too much, if it's especially in a meeting or crowded areas, that's not possible. Or if a dog comes, it's okay as well. You can just play around with it. Okay, it's just to be aware, just to know where your body is. So just notice where it's sitting. One deep breath, and notice what this one simple conscious breath does to you right here and right now. Notice the sense, any sensations, yeah? And just notice how your posture is, bodily posture. And voila, that's it. Just bringing yourself back to here and now, as simple as that. And you can practice this as many times as possible. But I'm sure we all know as our days goes into, starting, and we don't take this mindful moment. It's just a mindful moment. So just a little bit around emotions and difficult emotions, especially, let's say, if there is, for example, a conflict or misunderstandings or hurt, many kind of emotions. You can name it, right, for yourselves. What are some of the difficult emotions that you may be feeling? Okay. And basically, instead of getting her, instead of getting afraid of it, I invite you to just think about it as, you know, your emotions is, think about it as a river. When the emotion comes, all you need to do is just watch. So something happens, again, we talked about this in one of the sessions. Then there is emotions and reactions happening simultaneously or one after another. It really depends how we all operate. And then we don't know what to do. So basically, this session, I would really like to focus on what do we do with it. Okay. So if you are feeling some kind of emotion, think about it as a river. Now, what happens if you try to jump in the river? A strong river. Now, it depends. Let's say
Go with the flow.
Yeah, the
Carried by the
emotion.
flow.
Exactly. So the emotion is, if it's very, very strong, what happens? Go in, the river will, it will be difficult to come out. And if we try to go the other direction, it's going to be very difficult, right? So there's no need to stop that. It's let it through. Okay, if something is happening in your body, you notice that there's this awareness, right? So in mindfulness, all we are trying to do as much as possible is trying to be aware. So you don't need to stop, because sometimes we feel so bad or so difficult emotions that we want to run away from it. Instead of trying to run away or anything, I invite you to just sit and notice, sit and watch this emotion. So how do we do that? Okay, we'll go into the exercise right away, but just to give a quick description, just watch the river, just sit there, and it normally is in your body. Okay, so watch the sensations, watch what's going on inside which part of your body. So be a little bit curious about that and breathe. Okay, like we did, slow, deep breaths. And this awareness that we are trying to capture, it's actually our mind is like that. That's the awareness is the key. It's the fundamental quality of our mind. But because we keep our mind busy and we don't know how to work with our mind, we get with everything, right? The busyness, the work, the family, running from one thing to another. So we haven't learned how to just understand where this awareness is. So this awareness is like a sky, and emotions and thoughts are like the clouds. So if you just let those pass through your body, it's always through your body, it will go, and you will kind of notice something that is coming to you. Because as we said previously, emotions is kind of communicating with you, right? Emotions are giving you information about yourself, where you need to take next step. So for this, I'm going to do a meditation called RAIN. And RAIN actually stands for recognize. So when this happens, first of all, you just recognize what's going on. So let's just do it. Dive into this meditation. Okay. You can lie down, you can just sit straight, but just close your eyes. And I invite you to think about a moment where you had some kind of difficulty. It could be with your friends, family members, co-worker. It could be in the past. You can imagine it. You can think about a situation, or you can work with something that you already dealt in the past. Okay, so just notice that. Notice the situation you are in. Okay, and just recognize what's going on in this particular moment. What's the thought that's going on? Any feelings, any behaviors that was or is affecting you. Now, for example, it could be, let's say, a conversation that you had with someone, and whatever the person said, you didn't like it or it hurt you. It could be anything like that. And once you recognize something the person said or did or didn't do, once you recognize that, allow the experience to be there just as it is. It could even be, I'm not good enough, right? I'm not doing the right thing. I'm not achieving enough. How does that feel? Just inviting you to go a little bit closer to this kinds of feelings. And once you have recognized, just allowing the experience to be there, noticing what's happening. And allowing simply means letting the thoughts, emotions, feelings, or sensations you have recognized simply be there without trying to change, avoid, or fix it. It could be a fear, it could be a disappointment, it could be loneliness. And allow yourself to gently whisper, it's okay. Or this belongs here, it's all right. And by allowing whatever is showing up with this difficult emotion, this creates a bit of a pause that makes it possible to deepen our attention. And now we are simply going to investigate. The I of the rain is investigate with an attitude of interest, curiosity, and gentleness and care. Okay? So investigate really, it's call on your natural curiosity. Instead of being harsh, not knowing what to do, it's simply a desire to know the truth. And direct a more focused attention to your present exercise. And you may ask yourself something like, what most wants attention? How am I experiencing this in my body? What am I believing? What does this vulnerable place want from me? What does it most need? So whatever the inquiry, your investigation will be most transformational if you step away from conceptualizing and bring your primary attention to the felt sense in the body. So just notice around where you feel this in your body. And notice what's going on there for you. And whatever is showing up for you, whatever is present for you, we are going to use the N, the nurture, with self-compassion. Self-compassion begins to naturally arise in the moments that you recognize you are suffering. It comes into fullness as you intentionally nurture your inner life with self-care. And to do this, try to sense what the wounded, frightened, or hurting place inside you most needs. And then offer some gesture of active care that might address these needs. For example, it could be just a little hug from yourself, or a kind message for yourself. It's okay, I can do it. It's all right to feel this pain. There's nothing wrong with me. Just because I didn't listen, or I'm harsh on myself, I can still show some self-compassion, forgiveness. Does it need some forgiveness? Does it need some love? Just notice what this difficult emotion is needing from you right now, so you can nurture with your self-compassion. And you can simply experiment and see which intentional gesture of kindness most helps to comfort, to soften or open your heart. It might be just a mental whisper like, I'm here with you, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm listening. It's not your fault. So whatever is coming up for you, just notice. It could also be something like just bringing your healing hands around your heart or your cheek, or by just imagining being showering yourself, embracing yourself with some warm, radiant light. If it feels difficult to offer yourself love, bring to mind a loving being. It could be a spiritual figure, it could be somebody from your family, friend, a pet. And imagine that being love and wisdom flowing into you. Notice how you're feeling. Simply notice the quality of your own presence and rest in this wakeful, tender space of awareness. Using this kind of meditation, this meditation, which first you allowing yourself to recognize what's going on, allowing yourself to let that emotion be as it is without changing, bringing that space, pause, and then investigating with kind care, curiosity, in whatever is coming up, using nurture with self-compassion. Really helps you to realize that you're no longer imprisoned in identified with any limiting sense of self. And it's just a way to give yourself the gift of becoming familiar with the truth and natural freedom of your being. It is simply mysterious and precious. Notice your breath. And when you are ready, you can maybe open your eyes. Come back to the- Thank you. How was this meditation, or few thoughts, questions, comments? Please, you feel free to unmute or write in the chat.
I can share first. So when I woke up this morning, I felt annoyed at someone specific. And so I thought it was perfect for this meditation.
Yes.
And as we are going through this meditation with you, there was there is a shift in the process. So it moved from, actually it was more than annoyed. I was peeved, basically. Peeved, and then moving, as we are continuing, it moves into sadness underneath that. And then as you were connecting, going at deeper, and I just felt that I found a young child of mine there. So it's an inner child of myself. And the feeling was more about a feeling that my love is not being reciprocated, that I felt on the top, being taken, feeling I was taken for granted. That was the peeved about. And as you were saying, ask it what he needs, basically. She wants her dad. So I was connecting. So I was just imagining, visualizing being held by my dad, and then it became clear to me what that was about, because my dad was traveling a lot for work. When he was at home, he's very present, but when he's traveling, this was in the early 80s, there was no phone, nothing. I felt very disconnected. So, and when I look back into the peeved, that was what it was about actually with this person. It's like when we are connecting, it was so deep, but between the connection, there was nothing. So it was quite interesting, basically, for me. Thank you for that meditation.
Beautiful. Thank you, Astuti, for sharing. Everyone, yes, wanted to say something.
No, I was just thinking, and thanks, because it was a good meditation. And two things I just recognized is that although I didn't start with like a super strong emotion, it kind of put the light on it. It highlighted it during the meditation. At some point, I really felt it very, very strongly. The thing is, I chose for a very positive emotion, or I started very positively, and so yeah, during some moments that was like kind of counterintuitive with the flow of the meditation. But I kept the positive emotion, and it also went very positive, strongly. So that's good. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Monica, any thoughts, any comments, your experience?
Actually, it happened to me last night. Someone annoyed me, but after a while, it felt like sadness after sometimes to absorb the emotion. It feels like I'm I'm not accepted, I guess. Like I should be doing something different. And it's been a maybe childhood trauma for me that I always feel rejected. But because of this sessions, I guess it helped me a lot with the emotions that I managed to do well last night actually. So it's like give yourself this little self of yours a little hug, say it's okay, and I'm no longer pissed. At least now. I don't know about next.
Super. Thank you so much. I mean, it's really about recognizing, right? First, we don't know what it is and we don't know what to do with it. So obviously we cannot go anywhere from there. But once you start practicing and being aware and more connected to your own emotions, own body expressions, the more you do that, I think, and the curiosity, which I love about mindfulness, is just being curious about things, which gives new perspectives every day. The same thing can give you, 10,000 different perspectives every day, and all perspectives are perfectly fine because it's not about right or wrong, but it's just about different perspectives at any given point, right? And emotions, just when we say difficult emotions, it can be both, right? Like Erwan, thank you for bringing that up. I mean, sometimes we are extremely super excited, and that's perfectly fine. It's about how do we channel that, right? When you have when we have someone who's constantly ding, 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 in excitement, that might be good for the person, but in general, how is other people feeling around, right? So I think that is also another way to look at it. And difficult emotion is just something that we can't contain it ourselves. That's how I see it. And sometimes not knowing what to do with this overwhelm of joy, or because not everybody is understanding your flow of energy, right? And this is something that I learned for myself, is the way I was being in when I was younger, just bubbly and everywhere. Maybe sometimes it didn't work in every context. So just having that understanding and learning how to canalize it, what it needs, that helped as well.
Mhm.
So yeah.
No, I'm just thinking, because that's a good point. Because yeah, I have, and especially in stress moments, rapid cycle, manic depression, where I go up and down. And I use meditation a lot when I'm in the down periods to get me out of there. I never thought of using it the other way around when I'm hyper, to actually calm me down as well. Because when I'm hyper, I typically choose one thing where I'm hyper focused on, and then I go and go and go, and I sometimes realize that kind of, if I keep on going there, I will hit that cliff again.
Mm.
But I never thought of using the meditation to calm me down at that moment.
Beautiful insights. Thank you.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true, because I always like, kind of, when I'm down, then I use it to pull me back up again. But no, a good point today.
Yeah,
Excellent.
because sometimes it's our society, right? When you are happy or joyful, there's a good and the bad thing. So I guess, when we think we are sad, we must get out from that. Whereas being sad, lonely, upset, it's just what is, or
Yeah.
joy or hyper or overwhelmed. It's just what is. So beautiful insight. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Great. So maybe if there's anything, any other reflection, questions, use the time. We can stay another 5 minutes or so.
Oh, I do have a question.
Yeah.
if meditation is used to control the highs and the lows, do you think it will help to when you're feeling the high and you do meditation to calm yourself down? Would it help with the gap, the ups and down? When the up is too up and the low is too low, it can. I always feel like that when things go from here and then drastically go to there, and then it's the tiring part. It's not the about the highs and the lows, but it's the movement part that's like that. Do you think meditation will help to like bring the gap closer? Like if you are not that happy, I guess you can't be that sad. Am I making any sense?
No, I think you are making sense. I didn't mean you are not making sense. Absolutely. So meditation is those high and lows as long as you are aware. Meditation is more about awareness, right? So awareness is what helps you regulate. Okay. When you know your highs and your lows, it's about the meditation will help you to kind of adjust those. So I can definitely speak for myself. I'm someone who goes up high and low, but I must be honest, I have never been low on the bottom side. But the awareness is the key word here. Okay, when you are aware of your ups and lows, now it's like you can think about yourself as a let's take an analogy of a horse, right? So a tamed horse or tamed animal, what are we doing? We are taming them, right? So you are the master of it. So the awareness, when you start meditating, you get more understanding of your own ups and lows. And then meditation can be like a preventive measure, right? So you are actually using it before it goes up and down. Now, it really depends what that means for each person. Sometimes it's great to be up here. Sometimes you need to be here, and it's about how much time. Like last week, I had an argument and I needed to be here, for 1 week with the person. I didn't speak. That's not my normal mode of operating, but I felt like I needed that, you know, just to be quiet. So meditation will help you. It's more about understanding your own emotions, right? The more you are aware, the more you understand what your low and what your high is. And then it's up to you to say, okay, what would be a good midpoint? Because I know that if I go really low, this is what's going to happen, or this is my experience, or this is how I see the world, or this is my how I relate to everything. And if we are here also, what does that really mean, right? What does that really mean? For example, for myself at work, if I'm just here, people are getting agitated maybe at work because I'm just like bubbly, hello, what's up, and they need to focus, they need to concentrate at work. So if I'm walking around like that when it's a busy moment, sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't, right? So it's really understanding your own level, and understanding also, like meditation also helps you first to understand yourself, the self-awareness. The second, the next level we go once we master our own, emotions, our understanding our own self, the next level is understanding other people, right? And how our actions and reactions are affecting them. So in the low and the up, I also invite you to think about how that affects the people around you, especially the loved ones, right? Because that matters to us.
Mm-hmm. Can I share something on that point?
Sure.
Because I'm thinking I had exactly the same expectation in the beginning when I was going in highs and lows, that it would actually help me to get out of there and regulate the lows to be not too low and the highs not too. And in fact, it's like Puja says, it's the awareness. And what I saw for myself is that it's not the meditation per se that takes me out of there, but for me, when I don't do anything and I feel that I go high and then low and then high, actually the time between the highs and the lows is actually shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. And in my worst moments, I was flipping 2 to 3 times a day, but like completely flipping. Yeah, I would be completely locked down, lights out, and then a couple of hours later, I would be out and running. And when I didn't regulate it, that's basically what happens when I don't stop the stress to add on and add on in my body. And basically where it helped me with the meditation is that now it's still the highs are still high, the lows are still low in the same amount, but the frequency is much less. It's a smoother process, and that's more of where I feel I can regulate. I don't even want to try to regulate how high I'm going or how low I'm going. It's just regulating the flow not to be disruptive. And like Puja says, not only for myself, but also for the people around, because at some point you're like, hey, super energy, let's do something. And then it takes a couple of hours before everybody gets ready. And by the time everybody is ready, I was like kind of completely down and I'm like, no, I don't want to do anything.
Yes, thank you, Erwin. And I want to also share something. This is also what I learned for myself. And I like the river analogy that you share, Puja. This is recently, I think about 6 months ago, I read a book called Burnout, I think from 2 sisters, the Nagoski sisters. They're doing a lot of research in this. And they had written or explained emotions in a very nice way for me because I understand it now so much better. So basically what they're saying is emotion has cycles. And I think that's what Erwin was referring to by allowing the cycle to pass through. It has a beginning, it has a tunnel, and it has an end. So when we are disturbing the cycle, and there's no telling as to how long the cycle is, it just needs its time, then the emotion get trapped, and then we get triggered because we stuck into this trapped emotions. And this is when anxiety comes and all these other things, because we are kind of stuck in that. And there are many ways to allow the cycle to complete itself. One is to be aware, because sometimes when we get triggered, we are focusing too much on the stressor or the trigger point rather than the stress response in the body. And the emotions is actually involuntary reactions produced by the neurological system we have. So we cannot not have it. It's always there. It will always be there. And there will always be triggers. So with awareness is that you kind of like, okay, I'm actually quite freaking angry, or I'm upset, or I'm overjoyed or something. And then to make a conscious choice to allow that to take place, this cycle, without interruptions. And I think that's what Erwin was referring to. I just allow this. And what I had experienced with myself is I use a lot of breathing because that's the easiest. But some people say dance it, sing it, draw it, whatever. But in my own experience, it's just a lot of breathing because that's the easiest and the quickest for me. Exactly what Erwin was feeling. It's just the frequency for it to finish is just faster every time. And when I focus on breathing, I let go the story. I just focus on the feeling that you actually kind of facilitated in the meditation. And this analogy, I like it very much. It has to go through a tunnel, and just make sure you don't disturb its process to leave. Because when you disturb it, try to control it, trying to run away from it, trying to middle in with it, that's when the potential of it getting trapped is so much higher, basically. Yeah.
Thank you, Astuti.
Thanks.
And you can look at it as children are very good at it. right? So what happens when children's emotion, they just get upset and then they cry their lungs out, and after a few seconds it's okay, right? But we've lost that way of being. So emotions, it comes and goes. And actually I have heard many people say, neuroscience and research papers saying that it actually stays for 9 seconds or so. Okay, so any emotions just comes and goes within that. So if you can just let that be, that can also help you. The reason why in mindfulness meditation we use body a lot and other sensory things is because when the emotion is too difficult, or when you feel like you are going too much down, get your focus away from the sensations of the body, because we are all different. You can put that awareness in the sound, you see. So in the beginning we did one of the meditation, just being aware of your surroundings. So you can focus on, like Astuti said, she's focusing on the breath. Me, I was focusing on my stomach, for example, right? Because I feel there the most. You can also, if it's too difficult and you can't, it feels like you are getting in, you can also focus on the sound. You can focus on the smell, what's around there, right? So it's really a way, these are just techniques and methods to help you manage that. And I think the sheer fact that, let's not be afraid, it's a communication tool. Your emotions are telling you something. And the river, the analogy was just let it flow, right? Even if there is, rocks and some branches, the water keeps going. So emotions is just, all we are trying to do with emotions is letting it go through. And the cycle that we are talking about is just how do we let it go and notice and observe? Because when we don't have that awareness, we go along with the emotions, right? So whatever that emotion is. And Monica, the meditation where it really helps is to understand your bodily reactions to emotions, to understand your own thoughts and emotions, because emotions are coming from the thoughts. Okay, and when we are not aware of your own thoughts, emotions are happening constantly. So if you want to change your emotions, you've got to be aware of your thoughts. And that's what the meditation is helping us to do. It's helping us to take a step back, be an observer. Okay, be an observer. It's like you are trying to watch a movie, but watch a movie about yourself. Okay, so what am I doing? What am I thinking? What am I feeling? Because we don't really think or see ourselves in this way. We are not sitting there doing our work and then going like, what am I thinking? What am I doing? What am I feeling? But another way to introduce this instead of just sitting and doing meditation is just checking in with yourself. What's going on? What am I feeling? What am I? And then you will feel like sometimes we don't even know what, but a simple breathing, simple movement of your body, and letting that just go through it. You don't have to make a meaning out of your emotions, because sometimes we also get trapped into trying to figure out, trying to understand, go back. You don't even have to do that. It's really not important. What's important is just feel the sensation. If it's heavy, find your own way how to deal with it, not to lie about it, not to ignore it, but just to say, like we did in the rain, right? Just recognize there's something. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it's coming from. Give yourself some space to feel that. And just say, oh, I wonder what it is. And let it be there. If nothing comes out, don't sit there trying to, oh my God, nothing came out. You don't have to be in that space. And then sometimes most of the time it just pops in your head, it's just like, oh, I get it, right? So don't stress about it. Just feel. If you can't feel, it's okay. Just the intention is going to help you. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, maybe in 1 month, but this will work because something in your brain has, triggered, and it will show up. Great. I loved our session. Astuti, should we just bring her closer to this? You want to maybe let them know about next week?
Yes.
Next week is
Next week is the
8th.
8th. Yes.
Mhm.
So basically, Puja just let me know that on the 15th of December, she will be traveling. So
Mm.
therefore, it is not possible to have the planned weekly circle. So what
We
we
can all
decided.
travel with you. Puja.
Exactly.
Yes, through my meditation.
Yes.
So what we're going to do is to do the last session next week. We are going to focus on communications and compassion, and we're going to merge the two. And per usual, we're going to record it. So, if you can't make it, of course, I would love you to make it. But if you can't, there will still be a recording, and that would be concluding the in total now 7 weeks. Initially, it was 8 weeks.
Yes.
And what we'd love to hear also is some thoughts and feedback about this journey together, how it was, what can be improved, and see maybe we will do it again in the future. We're certainly happy to have had you joining us many, many times in this journey.
Yes. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week.
Have a wonderful week, and I'm going to enjoy
Bye.
the snow today.
You're going to enjoy the snow. Yes.
Today. Yes.
Do that. Do that.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have
Thanks
a
a
great
lot.
Bye.
have a great
Bye-bye.
week. Bye.